All right, hello and welcome. We're joined today by Fox NFL analyst Greg Jennings and longtime NFL coach Rob Ryan.
To Indianapolis, where Andrew Luck just started practicing again, but is being shut down again by the Colts because of, well, this time it's soreness in his surgically repaired throwing shoulder. That's not the only bad news for Luck, or is it bad news? A new survey of players voted him one of the most overrated players in the NFL. Whitlock, you still believe Luck is a top-tier quarterback?
Well, hold on, let's clarify. I think they voted him the second most overrated quarterback after Eli Manning in the league. And I get where the players are coming from because eventually it's like Bill Parcells says, you are what your injury report says you are. And his injury report says this is an injury-prone. We could be looking at Tony Romo 2.0, not a franchise quarterback that's going to win Super Bowls. Andrew Luck was supposed to be the heir apparent to Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. Things outside of his control, not the right personnel around him, bad GM, bad coaching combination. I get where the players are coming from. Because, again, if you were supposed to set the league on fire and supposed to replace Brady and Manning, you are what your record says you are what your injury report says you are.
Every time they do a list of best actors, you ever notice the top 5 or 6 have been in movies recently? Sean Penn's the best actor, but he's not in movies very often. So sometimes he gets left off. Ed Norton turns down a lot of movies. Just because you're inactive doesn't mean Sean Penn and Ed Norton are not great actors. They're just very specific on what they want to do. Luck hasn't played much in the last year and a half. Out of sight, out of mind. You can sell all your stock. I'm buying it. This guy went 11-5, 11-5, 11-5 with a garbage roster. So bad, they fired the GM. Okay, I believe this whole thing is a plan to not allow him to play this year, to turn the roster over, get Brissett, trade him for picks, be so bad they get the 3rd pick, quarterback, trade that for picks. I think Chris Ballard has got it all figured out. But if you're going to downgrade him because Sean Penn hasn't been on screen or Don Cheadle hasn't been on screen this year, I'm going to buy Don Cheadle, Sean Penn, Andrew Luck stock.
Part of that, though, was he had a body double for a short stretch called No. Matt Hasselbeck. Remember when Andrew Luck couldn't win games and Matt Hasselbeck would go in there and win games? That's part of what the players are talking about.
No, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Troy Aikman had Steve Berline take over, where Aikman never won a game, and then Berline came in, so... I think Luck is an amazing talent. I mean, what he did, like you're saying, Colin, those first 3 years, that's ridiculous. Nobody had taken a team just on
himself.
And he comes in as a rookie, and there's a reason why his body's so beaten up. They never had any offensive linemen any good. I mean, terrible guys. But this is an ultimate competitor. He doesn't care who gets the credit. If they could run the ball past 4 yards, that'd be amazing because they never can. And everything's on this guy, but I think he's a superior talent to most of these guys playing on Sunday. So it's obvious they're holding him back, like you say, Jason. Hold them back, stay back, and then they're going to do whatever they got to do to get things going right. And in my opinion, I think the players got it all wrong. I mean,
I do too.
Yeah, I'm against the players on this one too. And being a former player and a receiver at that. And playing with a guy who I look at and can see similarities from Andrew Luck to Brett Favre. When I look at what Andrew Luck does he throw a lot of touchdowns? Yes. Does he throw interceptions? Yes. But how does he bounce back after he throws those interceptions? He doesn't wallow in that. He doesn't literally sit back and feel sad and sorry for himself after he's had a bad game or a couple interceptions. No, he's going and he's attacking right all over again. And as a receiver, you love that. As a team, you love that. As someone who's going to lead your team, you have to trust that your quarterback is not going to be in this slump because he makes mistakes. And so when I look at Andrew Luck, I get it. He hasn't had the great personnel in front of him, specifically the offensive line where you alluded to. But if he's given that, and if is a big if he can stay healthy, this is an elite quarterback in this league. hands
Big,
down.
strong, smart, arm,
Absolutely.
mobile.
It's like Carson Wentz. What's the difference?
Well,
Carson Wentz in his second year, everybody's seeing this big, talented guy who can move. Well, that's Andrew Luck.
I said this about Jacoby Brissett. Don't look at the results. Look at the traits. Jacoby Brissett, tall, arm, mobile, moves well, and appears to get better. Jacoby Brissett's not Luck, but his traits are he's going to be good. Luck's traits are great. Stanford, big, tall, mobile, arm, one.
Injury prone.
Well, that's okay.
That's a factor. Glass
It
tall
is.
a
Yeah,
factor.
no question.
All right, welcome back to the show. Greg Jennings and Christine Leahy are back. Let's move to Dallas, where Ezekiel Elliott's suspension was once again put on hold after yet another legal injunction just a week after the suspension was reinstated by a Texas court. Yesterday, Elliott addressed why he has continued to fight the NFL's decision.
When you get accused of something of that magnitude, you know, you kind of get labeled as an abuser, and that's not me. That's not how I want to be seen. That's not what I want to represent my family. And so, I mean, it's just important for me to fight.
All right, Cowherd, will the uncertainty around Zeke's suspension be a distraction for the Cowboys?
No, their lack of personnel will be. I really think they overachieved last year. I like Sean Lee. I like their offensive line. They have a good kicker. But I look at Kansas City and Carolina and Philadelphia and that group of players Deshaun Watson gets to work with. I don't think they have an elite roster. I think they overachieved last year, and I think their biggest problem is Seattle's got better players and Philly's got better players. I think Washington's got better players. I think they're outside of their O-line. What unit do you like? You like their secondary? You like their receivers? I don't. I don't like their players much.
I like
nuts?
Ezekiel Elliott last year, and he's a completely different guy this year. That has to be related to his off-field issues.
Does it?
In my opinion.
Or is the O-line worse?
Well, they did lose Ron Leary, and I think they lost their offensive tackle.
Do you like their personnel?
It's not great, but it should be better than this, and I do think this team looks distracted. From the national anthem being a major issue with them to Ezekiel Elliott's off-field problems, I think it's a cloud hovering over his head and the team's head.
On the herd earlier today, I said that I understand what Ezekiel Elliott is saying. I'm going to defend myself like crazy because if I don't believe these accusations are true, then I don't want that being surrounded with my name. And I think he should. I just said I hope that he really is innocent because his actions since he was accused don't tell me that. He wasn't very careful. He was pulling girls' shirts down after that, and he just wasn't doing the right thing. So I hope that he was innocent. And then I read something that he said either yesterday or today, and he said that this whole thing is a little tiring. Like, it's a little tiring, Ezekiel Elliott? Well, you're making $6 million. It's a little tiring to have to go through this process. Think about the girl right now who's not making $6 million and she's sitting at home. Don't you think it's probably tiring for her? And I think the Cowboys have dealt with this kind of situation many times, so they're well prepared on how to deal with it and not let it affect them.
Yeah.
The only thing that they're going to have to be worried about is Ezekiel Elliott feeling tired.
Yeah,
Mentally tired, and that's why.
But really, I mean, don't say that. He's just so unaware of what he's saying.
he's young and he's immature, and hopefully this allows him to mature. He understands the scope of what's taking place. But for me, it is a greater distraction because as a team, as an offensive coordinator, from a football perspective, you don't know if you're going to have him or not. Even defensively, from schematically, you want to prepare for a guy you don't know may play this week, may not play. But offensively, I have to prepare as if I'm not going to have him. That's two game plans because it's a different Dallas team
no question.
with or without Ezekiel Elliott. So, yes, it is a distraction because you're making us, all of us who are in this locker room on this offensive unit, plan for if you're in and if you're not. Because there's no way that if just like you take the Green Bay Packers, Aaron Rodgers, if he's in, if he's not, you got to prepare a certain way. That's the way the Dallas Cowboys have to prepare right now because after this game, we don't know if he'll be in suit.
My thing, football is no place for a victim mentality. I really, you have to feel like you're invincible. He feels he's presenting himself like he's a victim.
Yeah.
That's not the proper mindset for a football player or for a football team. So I think it's certainly an issue.
Welcome back. Joined now by Fox NBA analyst Chris Broussard and the founder of the Big Lead, Jason McIntyre. Here we go. Let's move to Oklahoma City, where the Thunder's big three of Westbrook, Paul George, and Melo make their debut tonight against the Knicks. Great team to open with. Also see a big debut in L.A. Lonzo Ball and the Lakers take on the Clippers. That'll be fun. Whitlock, which debut are you more excited to see?
The OK3, because I think it's the most combustible. I don't know if there's going to be an in-between with these guys. I don't know if they can just be okay. I think that it's either going to be great or they're going to be what the Chicago Bulls had, the fist fights and the whole thing. And it could be all three guys.
They'll be on their best. See, I think it's the Lakers because I could get Lonzo Ball may not be that good. The Lakers could be terrible. I know what I get with the big three. What do you call them?
The OK3.
You know what you get?
Yeah, I know it's a 55-win team, and I know for the first until the All-Star game, they're going to be on their best behavior to prove to all of us we can play together. I can pass at the All-Star break. Couple tough losses. Then what you're predicting tonight, that could happen.
Yeah, I'm not predicting that tonight. I'm talking about over the course of the season. I want to see tonight are the elements in place for an explosion.
Oklahoma City knows we're watching tonight.
Yeah.
I'm with Jason, though. I'm more excited about OKC because what do you tell a guy before he gets married? Sow your wild oats. And what did Russell Westbrook do last year? He sowed his wild oats. He showed everybody, I'm a great individual player. I averaged a triple-double. You can never take that away from him. He is a certified first-ballot Hall of Famer. Now, what does he need to do to go to the next level? Win. That's it. Same with Melo. Melo, what can you do to go to the next level? Win. I think they can do it, but I want to watch the drama unfold. Like, can these three play together? And they're going to have an impact on this season. Lonzo, I want to see him, too, but they're not going to have any impact on this season. This is impactful if it works.
That's a pretty good point. I may watch a different game.
Whitlock, really? Guys, if you like iso ball and hero ball and stagnation, one-on-one play, that game is for you. The right answer is Lonzo Ball. Beautiful passing, distribution of the basketball. And, hey.
Who's he distributing it to?
Well, Brandon Ingram. Is he going to make the leap?
9 points a game?
Should we talk about Brook Lopez?
37%
Is this a spot for KCP? No, but seriously, we don't know what LeVar Ball's going to say. He could do a halftime interview and pop off. There's the sneaker angle with Lonzo. And let's not forget the number one factor here. You're watching the Lakers. They're down by 20. Shucks, guys. Is LeBron coming to these guys? That's going to be a thought every time I watch a Laker game this year. Is LeBron really coming to play with these young kids?
Lakers are like you guys got to admit, the Lakers or the Yankees, they're more interesting.
Not tonight. And not over the course of this season because, again, potentially, I think what Chris and I are saying is like, if they can figure it out, these are three really talented players. And if there is a best-case scenario where they could be a problem for Golden State.
I was talking to an executive last night who knows some of these players pretty well. He said this group of Thunder players can be better than Russell and KD were. Now, what Russell and KD do? They had the Warriors down 3-1. And there's also the issue of the Warriors trying to repeat. Do they get mentally fatigued? It's hard to repeat.
How?
If it comes together in OKC, they could be a threat.
You know, you make a good point. I think I will watch that game. You know why?
Oh, Cowherd. Jeez.
A really interesting thing on this, and you made me think about this, is that you said all Westbrook proved I'm the man. I sowed my wild oats. I believe that is who he is.
Yeah.
I don't believe he can segue to sharing the ball. That is fascinating. Now, I do think tonight and for 3 or 4 weeks he'll be ball share guy. But I have a belief that Westbrook.
Your game is your game.
You're exactly. Kobe Bryant shoot less. That's not who he is.
Alan, 3 or 4 weeks or 3 or 4 games?
Either one, but I think your
went
game's your game with Westbrook.
Average of most shots in the league.
Am I crazy?
No, I think you're right in terms of, look, we have seen guys sow their wild oats and settle down and be home at 7 o'clock and sit on the couch and watch TV. We've also seen guys that dip out.
But that's drama. We want to see that. Let's see which one do you do.
To Boston, where things are off to a rocky start for Kyrie Irving and the new-look Celtics. Kyrie struggled, shooting just 7 of 25 as Boston lost to Milwaukee last night. Just a day after the team lost Gordon Hayward for the year with a fractured ankle. Cowherd, should Kyrie already regret leaving LeBron in the Cavs?
Well, I would have left it the minute I got on my private jet to Boston. You don't leave great because there's so little of it, and great rewards you in so many more ways than you give it credit for. One of the things that I noticed with Kyrie last night, when you play with LeBron, the shots are just a little easier, right? You just get a little better look. You can look at Kyrie Irving's career with LeBron and without. And the one thing that jumps out to me is field goal percentage. Over the course of 47% and 43, that's a different player. That's not 46 to 45. If you look at field goal percentage in the paint, that's like 52 to 48. Kyrie will score his points. Kyrie will be a great finisher. Kyrie will be a smart player. He's not going to get the looks. And over 82 games, it gets frustrating having to work harder for points.
Look, I think that's easy to say with Gordon Hayward and his fractured ankle. He was gonna, if Hayward was there and he accepted the coaching from Brad Stevens, he was gonna get looks because of the system.
Right.
And they were actually gonna run a system rather than whatever LeBron wanted to do in that moment. And so, yeah, should he regret it? Yeah, well, as soon as Hayward went down, it's like, damn. Because his next 2 years are jacked because he won't be back this year, and you can't tell me Hayward's gonna come back the next year the same
at
guy.
22 and 6.
The same guy. And so, yeah, this looks like this is a worst-case nightmare scenario.
Should he regret it? I mean, we can all say he should have never asked for the trade, but does he? I don't think so because he had to count the cost. He didn't know where he would end up. He didn't know he was going to go to a Boston and Eastern Conference contender. For all he knew, he could have been in Phoenix. He could have been with some terrible team, and in his process of thinking, do I really want this trade, he had to consider that. Am I willing to go somewhere where we may not win just to be the man and be a point guard, a full-time point guard? I believe he had to take that into consideration. So as of yet, no regrets. When he will start regretting it is, let's say they're a lower-rung playoff team this year. Then what are people going to say? You ain't even as good as Isaiah Thomas. Oh. Isaiah Thomas at least got him 53 wins and got him to the Eastern Conference Finals. Because it's similar. Isaiah Thomas didn't have Gordon Hayward either. He had Avery Bradley and some defenders, but you got a Jaylen Brown who's got more talent than a lot of those guys that left, and a Jason Tatum who also has more talent. And over the next few years, if Kyrie can't lift this team to wins, big-time wins, deep playoff runs, and you look like just a street baller, you out there shaking people up, shooting 43%,
by the way,
averaging a lot of points, then your legacy begins to take a hit, and that's
Chris,
what
we're looking at this relationship of Kyrie and LeBron, I think the wrong way. Here's how we should look at it. They didn't join forces and say, let's be a super team. Kyrie was drafted as the alpha, the #1 pick overall. It's your team, it's your show. Then LeBron was thrust on him. He didn't ask for LeBron. Now, would he have taken him? Of course. But Kyrie went from being the #1 alpha, point guard running the show, to, hey, it's LeBron's show. Now you play off him. As we've seen, Kobe and Shaq. We saw that, right, guys?
But it's Kyrie Kobe.
Well, we're going to find out. And you know what Kobe was without Shaq? He was a 35-point-a-game guy out in the first round of the playoffs.
He also won a couple championships.
He did when he got Pau Gasol. But maybe Kyrie will get Gordon Hayward back in a year, as you said. Or Jason Tatum will grow up, or Jaylen Brown will. I think it's too early to say he regrets this.
Guys,
he's going to be okay.
How do all those receivers like Deion Branch do when they left Brady?
Yeah.
Don't leave great. In our life,
although, wouldn't you say Kyrie is on a higher level than those receivers at Brady?
No question. Yes. Yeah. But Randy Moss, listen, I can go boom, 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 boom. Randy Moss, the best receiver I've ever seen after Jerry Rice. He was great with Tom, and then it implodes.
I will say this to your point. We killed Kevin Durant for giving up being the man so you could go win. Then we killed Kyrie Irving for leaving winning so you could be the man. Like, it's hard to have it both ways.
Can't win. Players can't win.
How about a new rule? If you play with LeBron, you never leave.
All right, welcome back. Jason McIntyre is back, and we're joined now by Fox MLB analyst Nick Swisher. Let's move to tomorrow's Game 6, where the Yankees have come back from down 0-2 to the Astros and are now just one win away from making the World Series again, thanks in large part to Aaron Judge. Judge has had several big hits the last few games, including sparking that huge comeback in Game 4. But as you see there, he's had an uneven postseason, putting up huge numbers at home, but not doing anything on the road. Cowherd, has Judge done enough in the postseason to cement his superstar status?
Yeah, the difference, there's a lot of great players in sports. The difference between star and superstar is not just accomplishment. When you're on TV, I can't take my eyes off you. And when he's at the plate, you ever walk through an apartment store and there's all those TVs and you usually just walk by and look? Like if he's on the TV, you're like, I'm going to sit down and watch this game.
You said it happened with one other guy. Who was that player?
Jose Canseco.
Yes, sir. You're right.
Superstar.
Is that why you look at me with those
same
lustful
exact-
eyes?
That's what it is. That's why.
No, I think Judge is a superstar.
I think he's inching close, but look, there's a high standard in New York. Look at Derek Jeter's rookie statistics, his first postseason.
Right.
A little bit better than Aaron Judge. I thought we had a graphic
There
here.
we go.
Yeah, 361 average versus a 200 average. So he's got a high bar to get over. We compared him to Jeter all year.
How do players see him?
Well, it's so hard to compare him to, like, Derek Jeter, bro. You're talking about, like, the greatest player ever. Like, that's hard to live up to that. The one thing that I think about, you were talking about when you think of superstar. When I think of superstar, I think of Aaron Judge, and I'll tell you this why. Not only because he's a baseball player and he's one of the biggest human beings to ever play the sport, he makes non-baseball fans enjoy the game of baseball. And I think that's something to be said for that.
Yes.
Obviously, being in New York, he's a polarizing figure. And on top of that, guys, he does it the right way. He signs autographs. He gives balls to the little kids. Like, he does everything that we want our athletes in today's game to do. So if he's not a superstar, I'm not quite sure who is, if that's the case.
I mean, Nick, it's not going overboard to say he might be the face of Major League Baseball,
Quickly,
right? That's not too that's too much hyperbole, because Bryce Harper hasn't done this in the postseason. I mean, Aaron Judge is really delivering here. And as you said, when you compare him to other athletes, he's bigger than Gronk.
Oh,
and that's like unthinkable. Like, you can't even fathom that. 6'7", 280 pounds. That's bigger than Gronk. That's, you know who's almost that big? LeBron James. He's like 6'9", 250. This guy is a transcendent athlete.
Jason, when I watch him, he has, like these kind of, look at this. That doesn't, his running size is over the wall. He doesn't,
right?
I mean,
he stands up to dunk.
Last week, Gronk played against, when Gronk played against the Jets, there was a crossing pattern, and Gronk looked like J.J. Watt in the secondary. You're like, by NFL player standards, he looks like a left tackle. The kid, to me, jumps off the TV set.
And for a 25-year-old, Nick, to be doing this in his first postseason.
Ever.
In New York, the spotlight, Yankees haven't won in a few years.
Down 0-2.
This is impressive. I mean, we can give him superstar status.
He has been the catalyst for that Yankee offense, guys. I know he started off a little much. He went through that, 37 games where he struck out. By the way, guys, 4 hits in his last 9 at-bats. He's picking it up when his team needs it the most.
And it also looks like the players are happy for him. Like, if you watch the Yankees,
they love him.
They really are. There's no animosity with him. There's no ego. You can sense they're all in on this.
We gotta go. What's the gold chain about?
Oh, I don't know, man. Just something I stole from the baseball guys. Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
See you tomorrow.